Good morning. Welcome to Harpy Stitch. I'm sorry, I was going to drink before I started, but the cat was bogarting my water. He likes to drink out of our cups. All right, let's try that again. Welcome to Harpy Stitch. I'm Amy, and this is my corner of YouTube all about cross stitch. We have emergency paper towels on the back of the couch. Welcome back if you are returning, and welcome if you are new. I actually have a variety of things to show you this week, and it is my 50th Flosstube. Yay! So I have made it to 50 episodes of Flosstube. My goodness. So, I've got a few things to share with you. I actually got back to fun stitching in the last couple of weeks. I do have one commission left to do, but the order was canceled, so he's just going to put it in his prop room. And he said, I asked him when he wanted it by. He said by Thanksgiving. So I took this week and I had a plan, like to do a strand in the commission every day and then work on my fun stuff. But there was my weekly challenges and a pop-up challenge, and I did get some work done on it, and I finished all of my challenges on Halloween. So yesterday, the time that I had to stitch was all about the commission, and today I'm going to do the same thing when I'm done here and done grading papers. So that is, and I've got actually a lot of projects to show you, which is nice because my Flosstube admittedly has been mostly my commissions the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of videos. So I have variety today. Isn't that wonderful? All right, life updates. Actually, let's do my October stats. So in October, I got 12,014 and a half stitches in. I had 2 finishes, 3 if you count my piece of my round robin, and 1 new start. It is only 9 weeks, or excuse me, there are only 9 weeks left in the year. I counted it up because I wanted to make sure that I was on the right week of my year of 50 starts. I still have 2 official starts to do because I did not count my commissions in my 50. I still want to get started on my Nightmare Before Christmas embroidery. And then, I can't remember what the other one is at the moment, but that's okay. Oh, I also have gotten, so I do fandom. I've mentioned it before. I'm not really good about telling you each week what challenges, but I have finished 11 of my 25 for 25. So that's 2,025 stitches in 25 projects. I finished 11 of those. They also have a road less traveled challenge where you go to different locations, and to beat the bad guy at the location or to explore the location, you have to get 2,000 stitches, and I'm only on number 5 of those. I used my Catchula bookmark for the first one of those and finished it, and then now I'm using Frogwarts whenever I'm not using it for weeklies. I use that for my road less traveled, because if you use the same project, then you get bonus points. So that's coming up. I passed my latest test in my class towards that's helping me get my licensure. And I will be going to a science conference in less than 2 weeks. So I will miss 2.5 days of work without losing any of my days off, because it's considered school business. The school paid for it. I'm now officially a member of the National Science Teacher Association, and the school paid for that. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's a contract year. We have elections on Tuesday. The only thing that seems to be on my local elections is the school board special election, because one of the members retired due to health issues in February. So I will be going to vote in that. It does affect my livelihood, and it also affects our kids. So I want to have a say in who gets on the board. I've mentioned that my husband's been getting some tests. So far, everything has come back clean. We have one more test to investigate something that they found on one of the scans that they weren't alarmed about, but they're going to check it anyway. So Health-wise, everything seems to be going okay, other than still migraines all the time for him. He never has a day without pain, so the pain management that we're doing does help, but it doesn't make it go away. And so that kind of sucks, but so far nothing, no obstructions or anything like that. So he's doing okay. We're both struggling with current events a little bit, and we're trying to limit how much media we take in, news media, just for our own sanity. So we're doing a lot of escapist watching and stuff like that. So, excuse me, now that the cat stopped drinking my water. All right. What else? Oh, one more thing. For the first time since we moved into this apartment, there are really kids in the building. And the current building manager came up with the idea of, if you want to do trick-or-treating with those kids, you could put a little paper pumpkin she provided on the door. We only got 2 kids, but it was the first time in years I've had any trick-or-treaters. And I think more people didn't participate because literally she sent out the message about it the day before Halloween. So I'm hoping next year, if we're still here, we will get more trick-or-treaters, because it's a secure building, you know, we can't get outside trick-or-treaters. And most of the time that we've lived here, there haven't been any kids in the building. But I got to see a little kid, Harley Quinn, and a spooky pumpkinhead death mask person. I'm not sure who he was, but they were super cute, and that's my favorite part. Now, the problem is, excuse me, I drank that water too fast. Now the problem is we have all this leftover candy that we should not eat at all. And I gotta figure out what to do with it, because I wanted to get a variety of stuff that didn't have peanuts. That we have some like toddlers, so I wanted to make sure I had stuff that they could have. And yeah, so I got like 3 different bags of candy, even though I knew there were only like 10 kids, because you gotta have the variety that everybody can eat. All right, so my new start, unsurprising, is my final Shawshank sampler, and I got Right and part of that and part of Judgment done. And again, and there was a couple of days this week I couldn't stitch at all, or last week, not this week, but last week that I couldn't stitch at all. I technically started this right after my last Flosstube, but life was really busy, and so for 2 days I didn't stitch at all. I had work, and I started teaching night school again, and I'm teaching chemistry this year. And really, I don't do much teaching. It's just make sure they do the work and don't cheat. And it's seniors, so their behavior is super good. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got done on Shawshank. And you've seen it a zillion times. And so that's it. Now, I started that on the 20th. It's by SS Prop Designs. 4 colors, 3/1 on 11 count ivory Ada. I think y'all could recite that with me at this point for as many of them as I've shown. All right, now's the fun stuff. All right, so fandom for the month of October, there was a 2-week pop-up challenge, and I feel like my picture has gotten really dark. Excuse me, I've got the remote for the camera right here. We got a fancy remote. Let's make it a little brighter. Will that fix it? There we go. I'm just going to keep this next to me in case it keeps jacking itself up. So, first thing let me rewind. Got distracted by the light problem. All right, so they did a pop-up where you could pick either 3 patterns, 6 patterns, or 9 patterns. So there were 3 options, and it was a monsters, villains, and ghosts challenge. And you did 100 stitches in each pattern, and if you chose the 3, you got 10 bonus points, and you got 1 point. They also included a bonus Halloween pattern, so you could do 1 extra Halloween pattern and get so many points. I did not have time to do that, but this gave me an excuse to work on something. So I went through and I organized, and I thought, okay, what of these things would count as monsters? And so the first thing I picked is What Lies Beneath, which is charted by Paine Free Crafts. If you don't remember what it looks like, here we go. They said the giant octopus island thing does count as a monster. So I got an excuse to work on this. It is so gorgeous. I can't wait to finish it. No idea where I'll put it. so I counted that as a monster. The artwork is by Dakota Detweiler. I started this on May 20th of this year. And it is on 32 count linen. I'm doing it 1/1, and there are 108 colors. And I started in the top corner. I used to be a straight up center starter, but because of the way I make my axes, if I have to go up and to the left, what ends up happening is that the one corner of the stitch stretches weird. So I just got into some more of the blues. So I'm still up in the sky. There's a little bit of a cloud up there now, so that's nice. This white part right here is stitched. So there is my little bit. I probably normally wouldn't do a full coverage on 32 count, but this thing is, how many? It is 680 stitches by 850 stitches. So it's a big baby. So in order to make the framing even financially feasible at all, I went really tiny. But I think it's looking great. I like the 1/1, 1/1 coverage. I know a lot of people on full coverage do the half crosses, but there's always gaps for me, and I don't like that. I want my big full coverages to look like paintings, which means no fabric peeking through. But, you know, everybody does what makes them comfortable, and I could, I guess, do the 2/1, but the holes on that are so tiny, I don't think 2/1 would work on that one anyway, even if I did half cross. I do know my ones that I have full coverage that I started 2/1 on 25 are really tight, like my Wisdom stockings. So I don't think I'll be doing 2/1 on anything else full coverage 25 count or bigger like that. So, but for now, that works. Next is Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studios. I started this on July 24th of this year. I won the fabric in the started project from Floss Boss and Cousins. It is 42 count murky Newcastle linen by Picture This Plus, and I'm doing it 1/2. I am mostly using the called for. So let me pull it back here, scooch it in. So I finished this. I got this in. I added more here. The green in the hat is not called for. I substituted frog legs that I got from, or grass that I got. And then I've done most of this little flower motif. And I know it kind of blends in a little bit, but that's okay. I think it looks great. It is a little bit more easy to see in person, but it's looking beautiful. I used this for my pop-up ghost prompt in one of my weeklies. Actually, I used it for 2 weeklies. Something that's bigger than you thought. Like, the amount of stitches in this is much larger than you would think from the delicate look of it. So I used it for that. And then, yeah, I think I used it for black or something. But I love that little one too. And this was actually stitched by one of the Floss Boss and Cousins, not me. I had to frog everything else that was there. Oh, and I got this little purple one in too. Look at that purple. All right, but there, so some progress, like 400 stitches on this. Or actually about 500, because each of the weeklies you got to get 200, and then the pop-up was 100. And of course I went a little bit over, because, yeah, I frequently do that. Okay. So, making some progress on my Halloween stuff in Spooky Month. Alright. Now, next I worked on Supernatural Style. I used this for Monster as well. Let me open it up so you can see the whole thing. So that is what I've gotten done. I have talked about this before. My borders are very much narrower than I would normally do. I will probably frame this myself or turn it into a hanging. But I had this piece and I knew it would barely fit, and so yeah, I grabbed it. Anyway, I worked up in here. I thought it was, I had already started part of the border, so I ended up finishing the word werewolf, which is definitely a monster. So that is what I got done on this. I am mostly leaving the creatures because I haven't decided what colors I want yet for some of them, because I've got all this cool variegated thread. Like, I think it would be cool to do the ogre And hey, no, kitty, stay out of the stitching, please. There's a pile of stitching and he wants to investigate. Oh, you're going to lay in my lap? You can totally do that. Oh, yes. Good kitty. Laying in my lap. So since I haven't decided what colors I want, because I think it would be fun to do like variegated thread, or I've got some whisper thread left over from something. I might do the werewolf with fuzzy fur. I would have to do his clothes first, I think, to make that work, though, so everything doesn't get tangled. All right, kitty, are you going to leave the stitchy alone? And I used purple etoile, the 550 etoile for the border. And the skulls are glow in the dark. I haven't decided if I'm going to use the purple etoile for the skull's eyes or just go back to black for that. Sorry, I'm having to pet the kitty to keep him out of the stitching. The body of the unicorn is in Gentle Arts Raven, and his tail and stuff is in Weeks Dye Works Fiesta, because I thought it looked like fire. All right. I am so excited to have so much cool stuff to show you. All right. Next I worked on for my a couple of weeklies is, and for Villain, I worked on it for a weekly and for Villain, is my Overlook Cell by Robin Allen, who now has a Etsy shop called A Stitch in My Side. I started this on July 7th of 2023. It's on 32 count Belfast linen in stormy clouds. It's 2/2. So I focused on working on the twins. If you are a huge fan, you know that in the book they are not twins. But if you zoom in, and I realized while I was working on the background here, that when I did their arms here, I just did half crosses 1/1. I need to go back and fill in, because this is the color when you do the full X. Their hair bows are done. I've got to do back stitching once I get their faces in. And yeah, so I've almost got 2 rooms done. There is Danny's tricycle and the famous carpet. But I was working on that. And the little marks here, the little divots in where the skin is, that's where her eyes will be, which I will probably do in glow-in-the-dark thread, because they're ghost girls. And, you know, ghost girls should have glow-in-the-dark eyeballs. So coming along nicely now that I've actually got some work on it. All right. Yay. Next. So next I worked on 2 parts of my frogwarts. I worked on year 1 and year 3. These are by the Black Needle Society. I used Frogwarts Year 1 for a weekly and Frogwarts Year 3 for a villain, because it's got a Dementor. It is on 36 count Stonewash by Seraphim. I'm doing it 2/1. Ooh, let's just get one project at a time. And I still have not got the guts to go back and do my footprints, because I know I messed them up several times. All right, so here is year 1, and I worked on the spell. I worked a little bit on these jelly beans, and I realized I was out of a color. Worked a little bit on the words, and look at that. I finished the sorting hat, the umbrella, and I've almost got the broom done. I went with a very subtle gold color for the Nimbus 2000. I thought that the other shiny yellow I had would be too brash or too garish, but I'm beginning to think that I should have gone with the brighter white or brighter yellow so it would show up better. What do you guys think? It's very hard to see, but I don't like super bright. Like the lighter color in the snitch is probably what I should have used, and maybe I should go back and change that. All right, so that is my progress on year 1. I am hoping to finish at least 1 more of these before the retreat in July. Maybe all of them, so that I can, when the retreat's done, I'll have finished the whole thing. All right, and then year 3 was monsters, and as I said, I used it as monsters because there's a Dementor in the design. I'm not very far on that. But what I ended up working on was his aunt's foot. So if you have seen this design before, you know, in year 3 he accidentally blows up his aunt and she floats away. So it's her shoes and her butt as she flies out of the room. So that's what I chose to work on. I've got some of the diamonds done at the bottom. I'm really kind of wishing I had done all of the spells and sparkly. And then I've got some of the words. But that is year 3. So not a huge amount of progress, but some. And, you know, progress is progress. Another drink. It is getting colder. I've actually had to wear my winter coat a few times, and so the air is getting a bit drier. Which makes me have a drier throat. Next, I used this one for Ghosts for the pop-up, and it is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. I started this on May 26th this year. It is on 40 Count Inca by Fox and Rabbit, and there are 42 colors. I am not using the fancy flosses. I'm just using DMC. So I came in, I got this gravestone filled in. Here's another part of a gravestone. I'm working slowly. These are so delicate, and ooh, if I pull it back, you can see the fabric. Look at the little bits of pink. If I open it up, let's see if we can get some of the really pretty. This just screamed like fall vibes. Oh yeah, you can see it pretty well. The yellow is a little washed out. It's more buttery yellow, and those spots are a pinkish color more than the brown, but not too bad. But oh, I cannot wait. Oh, several people have just started this. Who did I see that was starting this? I've gotten through all of my Flosstubers and I've been going back and watching. Is it Adelaide No, it wasn't Adelaide Stitches. It was, oh crap. I meant to remind myself before I started, but yes. I'm so excited for the other people who are starting Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. So exciting. All right. Back to an older whip. Why do I think of this as an older whip? Oh, because I downloaded the files in like 2021, but I didn't start it until July 5th, 2023. This is Storybook Halloween Sal from 2021 by Stitchonomy. I used this for my ghost. I haven't gotten to the ghost one yet, but there is a ghost in this. It is on 14 count oatmeal Aida. Sorry, my brain is a little fuzzy, and so I keep looking at my notes more than I normally would. And I used black etoile for the border. So I got the background behind the pumpkin done. I got all of these kitty cats done. And then I started on the book spine with my challenges this week. This is one of those that if I just did it, I would be done so quick. It is super easy stitch. 19 colors and 2/1. So I've been debating, because it's going to say All Hallows Eve 2021. That's how it's charted. And I had debated since I didn't even start it in 21 to change it to the date. But she does one of these every year. And I think I'm just going to put the original date and then maybe sign it with the date I actually finished it. That's Silence of the Lambs, Dracula, Last House on the Left, The Mask, Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, It, and I can never remember what these 3 are. I'll have to look them up again. But it's coming along nicely. Here, let's get a nice close-up. The little half stitches are not required. They give you an alternate without it. But I think it helps them stand out a little bit and adds more interest look to it, especially since I'm using oatmeal. You know, the most exciting fabric choice there is. All right, for my next villains piece, because there was 3 monsters, 3 ghosts, and 3 villains, I did the Itzal by A Stitch in Time, because, you know, Pennywise is a villain. And I got all this frogged, but I already had a string started over here, so I decided just to work on this balloon since it was only 100 stitches anyway, rather than moving the hoop. I did Losers Club with a mix of 321 and the etoile because of the colors on those are actually quite different. So if I, like down here, I didn't use the shiny stuff for the blood. I should have, but I don't feel like frogging it. So I didn't use it for the blood on the bath or the blood on that costume. So I'm just going to leave it. It'll be fine. My husband, he actually likes this one more than the Overlook. I like the Overlook one more. But I got part of a balloon done. All right. I cannot believe I got to work on so many projects. I was so ready to not deal with Shawshank for a while, and I still have to deal with it. And it's not bad. I mean, I'm glad I get the commissions. It's just, my husband's like, I don't see the difference. Why does it matter what color? You're doing the same thing. And I know you guys all get it, right? The repeated projects, and many of us won't ever stitch something more than once. But yeah, so I needed a break, and what I've got to do is I've got to get in the habit of doing like a stitch a day every day on one of those, like just a strand, until I have a couple of them in the bank, so to speak, so that I don't have to rush to get them out. All right, my next one, which I did for weeklies, was Letters from Hogwarts, which is by Cunning Crossstitch. It is no longer available. I am also downloading his Lord of the Rings Stitch Your Own Adventure. I started this on August 24th of 2023, and it is on 32 count stone gray linen. It's 44 colors. I was working over here on the border on the edge, because I've got the top headline thing with and I did outline the wand with a dark gold, but I'm thinking I might need to switch it to the black, but I don't really want to face it. But I didn't want to do the outside border, so the first thing you roll for is your house. I didn't roll for my house because I've already taken the quiz and I know I am a Hufflepuff. So I picked the Hufflepuff banner, and I did a little bit of the border to give me my placement, and then I started on the top of the border for the Hufflepuff house. So that's what I got done on this. I have so many things I need to work on, and I both love it and hate it, because I want to work on everything, just like I want to read all the books and watch all the Flosstubes, and I don't have time for everything. So today, after I do this, I'm going to grade papers and do some laundry, and while I'm grading papers, Flosstube's going to be on. I don't know how much I will see, but I'm going to be listening, and I do try to look up periodically. But I love watching Flosstube, and it's actually a pretty good thing to watch while I grade, because it doesn't have a plot. And I mean, not that people's lives aren't interesting. I enjoy the life updates and all, but if I get too focused on grading, I might have missed a thing, but I'm not missing part of the story, and don't get lost. So, and plus it's good to have some background noise and feel like I'm not grading by myself, because grading can be a bit tedious. I've been reminding my high schoolers, look, you guys complain when I give you assignments, but whenever I give you assignment, I give myself 170 assignments, because I have to grade everything I give you. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah. So my next piece for you is Sapita. I did this one for 2 weeklies. This is what it looks like. It's by Maroomy Designs. If you have not checked her out, please do. She has beautiful designs inspired by Iranian Tetris. And she did this one in honor of all the women who fight for freedom and stand up for their rights in Iran. So I actually, it represented, I had a weekly that asked about representing women power and feminism. And so I picked this one. And it also, I did it for 2 actually. I don't remember what the other one was. But that prompt stuck with me. So she designed it so the white parts are what you're supposed to stitch. Okay? I actually have this beautiful Needle Bling Yellowstone fabric. That's 32 count. And I thought it would be so perfect for the sun rays that I decided to stitch the negative space. So the part that I'm stitching is the background that is not normally stitched. And I'm using DMC 4240 Midsummer Night. And I don't know if you can tell, but it is variegated. And I am not doing 1 X at a time. I'm doing my normal typewriter method. I think it's the Danish method officially, but I go all the way across and back. And I did that on purpose because I thought it would give that more subtle variegation, and I wanted it stripy to look like, you know, the sunrise sunset, where it is, there's kind of the different colors and there's kind of a layer to it, and I wanted that effect, but I didn't want it to be overly dramatic. And the stitches are tiny, so you can't really see the under X, but then when you get close, I think it adds a little bit of shading and variation, so you're consciously not seeing, but there's the little under stitches that stick out, add a dimension to it that wouldn't be there if you did a single X across. So I mostly worked over here and worked my way down and filled in this little corner. So this is the edge and this is the edge from the outside border. So I'm going to do the center and then I'm going to come back and do the border part. So I think she's looking beautiful. My husband thinks her mouth is adorable. And it is. But yes, I love the dramaticness of this piece. Now, I have 2 final projects to show you. This next one is the one that I spent most of Halloween working on, which seems thematically appropriate. I used it for a couple of weeklies. And it is Old Scully by La Petite Croix de Lucie. Oh, I used, one of it was for Reminds You of France, and I picked it because the designer's name is French. And I can't remember what the other one was. Alright, so it is on 40 count Haunted by Seraphim Fabrics. There are 34 colors. I started this on May 2nd, and I'm doing it 1/2 except for the blends. So some of this yellow in here is blends. And I was a little afraid that it would be obvious, but it's not. So this is a beautiful piece. I can show you what it will look like. So this is the finished piece. They chose white fabric for the sample. I did another piece on this Haunted by a different designer, but when I look at them, the Fortune Teller by Jessie Schofield. But when I look at them, to me, they seem spiritually connected to each other. So they're like spiritual brothers. So I did this one on this too, and I'm gonna like try to find matched frame to put them in. But he looks like he's glowing, and I love it. I admit some of the blinks are there because I didn't want to mess with blending. And I did have to do some frogging here to rearrange a few stitches, because since I'm doing it 2/2 on super dark fabric, sometimes it gets a little wonky and I get like half a stitch off. So I'm like, it's crazy. But I go really slow because, you know, when you do just one thread, they tend to break easier and stuff like that. So there is my friend Old Scully. And he was what I worked on almost all of Halloween Day while we watched spooky movies. We watched Weapons and Sinners again, both. They were so fun. Even the second time. Usually I shouldn't say fun, because both of them are emotionally devastating in their own way. But I do recommend them highly. Alright. Final project for the week is, excuse me, I'm going to stretch it out a bit. Is Dragons of the Sabbat, charted by Paine Free Crafts. Oh wait, you know what? I said the wrong thing. What Lies Beneath is Charting Creations, not Paine Free Crafts. My bad. I did this for Monsters as well, because it's full of dragons. And it was only 100 stitches, and I started this on January 1st. It is on 28 count even weave. Creation is Blue by Fabric Flair. The art is by Ann Stokes. And I'm doing it 1/1. There's 90 colors. I am leaving out the black, so it says I'm like over 40%. I'm like at 45%. But I am not. The really dark stuff here that looks like black is $9.39. And I'm not going to go pick it out. I know, like, this part will stay open. I wanted you to see the fabric, but I also think it needs some shading around the creatures and the stuff to give it further dimension, because if you didn't have that, it would be the white and it would just disappear. So it's going to stay, and I hope there's a few spots I think I might actually have to do black, like in their wings for outlines, but I filled in mostly this purple here, purpley blue, that gave me that corner of the star. So it is looking beautiful, and I can't wait to get more done on it, along with all the other projects. So that's it. Oh, yeah, no, that is it for whips that I actually worked on. So next is plans. So finish Shawshank clearly. Focus on my weeklies. We do have some good monthlies this month. I don't think there'll be a pop-up this month because it's getting close to the end of the year. I have Whip Go's been called, so the rest of the blocks are done. I still haven't finished August because I was doing my samplers. So I'm going to try to finish my Whip Go before the end of the year. And that'll give me a lot of progress on Wisdom and Cliffhanger. I was going to go to Menards yesterday and get the little tacks I want to fully finish Camp Crystal Lake, but I was just like, I don't want to go. We ended up going grocery shopping instead, which was more important. So maybe next time I will have that fully finished for you. I have one more fully finished item for Whip Go and the rest, and then I've got the free space in the middle, which I don't know what I'll do. And if I don't finish it, it's okay. It's my first year doing Whip Go. And I already have a Whip Go board kind of outlined really roughly for next year, because I wanted to see if I was trying to put things on it I knew I wouldn't finish this year. So I plan on trying Whip Go next year. Fandom next year will either be musicals or Friends. I'm hoping for Friends. I can probably get my husband to watch that with me. I have definitely fallen off the wagon with doing the Doctor Who watch along. I really would have rather have binged it more back to back when I was in the mood. I'm kind of like finding the time with night school and everything to watch this, the Doctor Who's. It got to be too much. So I'm not doing the watch alongs every week, which I guess I don't know. I'm right now I'm not in the mood for Doctor Who, which is weird to say because I love Doctor Who. But I've been in the mood for more spooky stuff than Doctor Who. So putting that on the side, and now I've missed I don't know how many, and it's fine because I've seen it all. But I need to watch something different for a while. I will probably feel the same thing about whatever. The only reason I would look forward to musicals is because it's going to be a wide variety of things. So it wouldn't be necessarily something to get burned out on. But my husband's like, I don't want to watch musicals with you. And I'm like, okay. But finding time to watch musicals when he's not up and watch Flosstube, because he doesn't want to watch that either. Although this month he's going to be doing writing every day, like NaNoWriMo, even though the site's down. Rip NaNoWriMo. I know that some of the organizers have made a new site, but the community hasn't built up yet. So, but I'm going to try to do that. And there's a new Stitchy game that was in beta, and I did join the Discord right away, but I just haven't had the mental capacity with my class and starting night school and everything to really read over the rules and make sure I was doing everything right. I think I'm going to try to get that sorted in my brain over Christmas break to start fresh in January in the new year. It is called Wonderlust. They are only on Discord. I will. It is hosted by Nastasia, I think. And she did an intro video, so I'm going to link that intro video below. It is a non-competitive game. So the premise is that you create a passport. You have to stitch to get your passport and fill in some information. Then you pick a country to start in, and you stitch so many stitches, and how many stitches you have to do to tour each country is based on population of that country, not physical size. And then you get fun facts about the country, and then you complete the country, and when you complete a continent, you become an ambassador for the continent. And then you can, and after you finish a country, you have to stitch at the airport to go to the next country and everything. So it's all at your own speed. There's no pressure. And I might be messing up some of the rules, but I think I've got it. And then there will be some community events, but they're all going to be cooperative. They're not going to be competitive. So I'm not sure exactly how those will work. I briefly watched part of the video because it came out, and I was like, because she launched it officially yesterday. But so I suggest you check it out. Everybody's really friendly so far. I haven't started the game itself, but I'm in the Discord and kind of keeping an eye on what's going on. I just haven't had the brain capacity to learn new rules for a new game right now. And excitingly enough, I got my first round robin. So everybody in the group's finished. Person I need to mail to hasn't given me their address yet, so I can't mail it. But I got Cindy's package, and I'm going to be working on Blue Morpho by Ink Circles. She sent plenty of thread. I don't think that'll be any problem. So let me show you what she sent me. So this is the bottom left-hand corner. Make sure I turn it the right way. Bottom left. And this is what she has done. I'm trying to decide if I want to do the bottom right or the top left. So pretty. And then she's like, oh, feel free to change the colors of the butterflies if you want. And she sent some beautiful blue thread. Sorry, she sent it in a plastic baggie, and I don't want to. So she did two of the colors. I think she did these two for hers. But then she sent, oops, trying to get all the blues next to each other. These blues for us to choose from. And they are so pretty. I have to decide how I want to do it. So I get to start working on this too and do my quarter. And it does not look like it's too heavy on stitching, which is wonderful. So I'm excited to work on Cindy's project, and I got to figure out where I would sign it, and so it doesn't disrupt the design. So, because what we're going to do is that you are going to sign your segment of each of the pieces so that you have, you know, who you did it with. And so I am looking forward very much to working on that. And yeah, so and I'm looking forward to sending mine off as well. All right, let's see what else is on my brain. All right, so I had put up a bunch of stuff on eBay, but gosh, eBay's fees have gotten so high. Like, I'm paying for the shipping label, like I do it through them, and it's supposed to give you a discount, but then like I'll have sold it and the person pays me for the shipping, and like I'm getting like $2, and it's just not worth it. So I was like, I don't know what to do. These have gotten to, I don't want to do Etsy for pretty much the same reason, right? The fees are too crazy high. So I'd rather be stitching tomorrow. She suggested I do a de-stash video where I put up what I have to get rid of, and people can make me offers, and we can come to an agreement about price. I would have you pay for shipping. I'm hoping to use some of it to help with some of the medical bills we've built up. I'm not expecting you to like give me a ton of money for that. That's kind of what my intention is for it, is that it'll go to pay down a little bit of medical bills. I mean, it'll be very little because none of the stuff I have is super, you know, rare or anything. It's just old stuff. I do have some stuff I'm keeping aside for giveaways. But if you would be interested in a destash video, I think that might work better than putting on my Ko-Fi or stuff like that. Though I do have a Ko-Fi, I could do it that way. What do you guys think? Do you think it would be better to do a destash video or to put it up on Ko-Fi? Let me know in the comments below. I do, however, have a giveaway in honor of my 50th episode. So I actually won this at the Frogwarts retreat, and it is a beautiful piece, or beautiful pattern, but it's just not my bag. It is The Earth Laughs by Brenda Gervais. Get in real close. Okay. That is the design. As I said, in general, I'm not a sampler person. I do appreciate their beauty, but they're just not something I really want to stitch. If you are interested in winning this pattern, please be 18. Please be in the United States. Please be a subscriber. Do not use the words giveaway, freebie, anything like that that'll attract the scammers. And use the word flowers in your comments. Yes, flowers. I wrote it down. I wanted to make sure I had the right singular or plural. So, yes, if you would like to win The Earth Laughs by Brenda Gervais, please put the word flowers in your comment below. I will do the drawing next in 2 weeks when I film next. All right, so that is all the stitching stuff. Oh wait, not quite yet. Shout outs first. Then I'll be done with the stitching stuff. So I have watched all of the Flosstubes that I'm subscribed to. And then I started trying to catch up with some people. So Akio Whip, got caught up with them. Erica has had a major finish in a big project she's working on for a long time. You should go check it out and give her some congratulations. Kevin is making great progress on his Poltergeist Pirates. I just checked in with Allie, a wee Scot in Yorkshire. Go give her some love. She's got some really pretty things she's working on, and is having a little bit of a stressy time. So go give her some support. Adelaide Stitches, I did the orange fabric sale with her. She did daily videos in October for Halloween stitching, all 31 days, except for when she was sick. So I'm catching up with her right now. I caught up with Wendy at Stitch in the Matrix. She's funny as always. And I'm going to try to attend her Zoom call in November, which I think is on the 22nd. Yeah, so lots going on. I don't have time. I'm looking back. There was a note that I made that I forgot to mention when I was talking earlier. What was my halfway to Halloween sale? Oh, project. That was Old Scully, hosted by Jason, who is also hosting the Round Robin. I will link all the stuff for the Round Robin below as well. As I said, my brain's a little scattered today, but that's okay. All right, so that is all the stitching stuff. Books that I've been reading. I shared with you the major movies that I've seen lately. We've also watched the original Fly from the 60s and Return of the Fly with Vincent Price, which was interesting. We've been watching like Svengoolie, and we started watching Up All Night. That's been being done again on YouTube. So I reread Carrie. Still a great book, still holds up. It is definitely an anti-bullying book. We finished The Eye of the Bedlam Bride, part of the, I think it's book 6 of Dungeon Crawler Carl. There's only one more out on audio, and the next book is coming out in February or March, and then we'll have to wait for the audiobook. So we're kind of stretching that one out a bit. I really want to listen to the next one, but then at the same time, I'll have to wait months for the next book after that. So I'm like, okay, we can take a break. And then I started reading The Wandering Inn by Pirate Abba. Started out as a web series. It was recommended on It Is Lit RPG, similar to Carl. It's not quite as funny. But the first book, the audiobook, is 48 hours long, and there are 17 books. And it's good. Main character's Erin, and she gets up in her apartment, and she goes to walk into the bathroom. She turns the corner to get to her bathroom, and suddenly she's in an entirely different world. And it's a fantasy setting, and she's trying to figure out how things work. And there are actually some other humans that got pulled in the same way, and they don't know how they got there. It's kind of crazy. You've got acid flies, you've got these blue fruits, all sorts of things. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. But it'll probably be what I'm listening to till the end of the year, which is okay, because for the last couple of Doctor Who books for my monthlies for fandom, they haven't been available through my library. And I know I can get them on Internet Archive, but I would rather support the library, and yeah. So, I am now listening to The Wandering Inn by Pirate Abba, who keeps their personal stuff very private. Like, they want to have a private life, so they're very careful about what they share online, which is interesting because that's how their books got popular. So, I hope you have a wonderful 2 weeks. I hope your last 2 weeks treated you well. Enjoy your stitching. Find some time to relax. And thanks for all the stitch. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.